It is the 17th day of September 2019. You're watching NTV at 1. My name is Zainab Ismail. Now, a post-mortem is yet to be conducted on the body of the late Tob Cohen. Family members and lawyers of the respective parties have been at the Chiromo mortuary since 9 a.m. Our reporter Mel Miendo now joins us from Chiromo mortuary. Mel, what is the progress so far with regards to this case?
Zainab, I'm standing at the reception of Chiromo mortuary, and we've been here from about 9 a.m. up until now, but yet the post-mortem has not been conducted. What we have heard is that the body may be taken to the Kenyatta National Hospital for an X-ray to be done, and the reason for that is just to check things like fractures and other things of that sort, so that when they come back here for the post-mortem, then they will know what the cause of death is. So as of now, we have spoken to some of the lawyers who represent, especially those ones representing the family of Tob Cohen. We saw his sister Gabri about 2-3 hours ago, but she's not here at this moment, but they're around, just waiting to see what exactly will be happening. Also, Zainab, we spoke to Cliff Ombeta, who is representing the family of Tob Cohen, and also Philip Murgor, who is the lawyer of Sarah Wairimo, and both of them have been very careful talking about this case, because yesterday the court mentioned that there should be no information regarding this case as it is in the courts, and so they're not supposed to disburse any information, and so they have talked mainly just about the pathology, the pathologists who are supposed to be coming. There are those who are representing the family, there are those representing Sarah Wairimo, and of course there are those from the government chemist. And so we've been seeing them moving around. They have not yet left the Chiromo mortuary to go to the Kenyatta National Hospital, but we do think that maybe in a few minutes from now that will be done. And also one of the issues that were there is because of the long time that they've been here. They came here from about 9 a.m. So it's about 4-5 hours from then, Zainab. And so most of them have been very agitated by just the fact that there's a lot of disorganization here at the Chiromo mortuary. So we're just waiting to see what the move will be, what the action will be, whether they'll go to the Kenyatta National Hospital. As of now, I'm just trying to see if actually right behind me, those are some of the people from the DCI office, especially those in the white coats. They're representing the DCI. There's also those who are representing the family of Tob Cohen. There's those representing Sarah Wairimo. And so as you can see, I think they're still just trying to talk. That's Danston Omari. You can see him right there. He's one of the lawyers representing the family of Tob Cohen. And so they're still just trying to probably understand what should be the next step. But as I had mentioned earlier, is that yes, they're probably going to move to the Kenyatta National Hospital for that X-ray and then come for the post-mortem. So we're going to keep checking and we'll definitely update you, Zainab.
Thank you so much, Mel. And of course, certainly a story that we are following up very closely for you. But away from that, what we also have is the National Treasury and Planning Acting Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, who is currently giving a briefing on the allocation of revenue to counties. This is happening at the Treasury buildings. I'd like us to now cross over live and listen into that.
Owed so much money by the counties in form of pending bills. This is hurting them, and it's a matter that we are addressing seriously. Respective county government should settle these bills because not in the interest of the public. Quite a number of them have been audited, and it's our view that this should be a direct charge, a first charge, as soon as we release this money. The stock of county pending bills to date were estimated at 100 billion as at end of February 2019, of which Kenyan shilling 40.5 billion was found to be eligible for immediate payment by the Auditor General. Approximately 25% of the arrears comprises of unremitted taxes and other statutory deduction, which is an illegality. We are aware that some counties have deducted pay as you earn, contribution to NHIF, contribution to NSSF, and other statutory deduction, but they have failed to remit to KRA as required. This is an illegality, and we are in discussion to make sure that we do not have a recurrence of the same. Other pending bills relate to outstanding payments to the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA, for delivery of drugs and related commodities, which comprises delivery of universal healthcare coverage program. If KEMSA is not being paid as required and within the timeline, then the stock and the resupply of drugs will be curtailed. This is going to impact negatively on the agenda 4 under the universal health coverage. We are appealing to the counties to make sure that they prioritize payment of the same. The rest of the areas comprise of dues to contractors and suppliers of goods and services, including utilities such as electricity and water. We are also aware that some counties are not paying for street lights, power that has been consumed by those counties. They are not paying for certain utilities, including water, even for electricity. This is really not desirable. We cannot conduct business in an atmosphere where I deliver services, but then you fail to pay. This should not be tolerated. It should be emphasized that such high levels of pending bills generate detrimental economic impacts to the entire economy, including unrealized targets for collection of revenue by Kenya Revenue Authority. If the 100+ billion was actually paid, close to 30% will go to Kenya Revenue Authority, and is going to finance our operation as government, and it's going particularly the delivery of services. Non-payment of pending bills will also lead to contraction in the operation of private firms, especially small and medium enterprises, the SMEs. It will also stall initiative of such access to government procurement opportunities, properly known as AGPO, which seeks to expand economic prospects for target group. Because if the people at the lower level are not facilitated, are not paid, then the economy will have a detrimental effect of shrinking, not providing employment and other opportunities, and that is really not an area that we want to pursue. In conclusion, I wish to urge counties as a matter of priority to focus on efforts to improve on own source revenue collection in order to increase their capacity to finance their operations so as to reduce the extent to which they rely on the national exchequer. I'm sure you're aware that quite a number of counties are collecting a substantial amount of revenue, but many of them are not. And the idea of having an independent county government was to give them that full autonomy in making sure that they finance part of the operations by, levying on certain services that are allowed within the law. Unless you have any questions, thank you very much. I'm not sure if the PS, the control of budget, KRA wish to add something, but I want to make a firm assurance that on the part of National Treasury, we prepared adequately, and we are releasing this money, 50 billion, which is some of disbursement for 2 months immediately. We also appeal to both houses, the National Assembly and Senate, to now do the horizontal allocation of revenue between the two houses, so that what they're popularly known as KARA, so that these counties will access money by Friday. Thank you very much.
The Acting Treasury Cabinet Secretary Kuria Tani talking about the revenue allocation to the counties. He's mentioned about 50 million shillings will be dispersed to the counties for the past 2 months. And of course, our own our reporter Vincent will be giving us more details with regards to that and the way forward for the counties. Machakos has been ranked as the top performing county in the country. According to the survey carried out in all the 47 counties, places Kakamega as the second best and Nairobi in third. The survey, conducted by a London-based think tank, All Africa Advisors, released Tuesday morning, outlining counties' performance based on the impact of various interventions since the advent of devolution. The survey used self-assessment questionnaires, field verification investigation, and a public opinion poll. In other results, Kivutha Kibwana's Makueni came in at number 4, Hassan Joho's Mombasa came in at number 5, and Mudhomi Njuki's Tharaka Nithi comes in at number 6. Migori County ranks number 7. Kisii County ranks number 8, with Kajiado County 9th, followed by Kericho County in 10. Kiambu has been ranked as the worst performing county.
Any survey on governance definitely is bound to have political angles to it, and our responsibility is to disseminate the information and let Kenyans digest it. So it's not unexpected, and it is the same for any other researcher who will stand here to disseminate information regarding a survey. So I think I would leave it at that for Kenyans to look at the survey and make decisions on it. If there's any learning to take from it, and take it and improve it.
Hospitals in Kenya have been urged to embrace autotransfusion in a bid to cater for the critical shortage of blood, especially during emergencies. Autotransfusion involves obtaining and transfusing back blood from trauma patients. This was the core message during the launch of an autotransfusion device, HemaSafe, which provides an alternative to donor blood. The process of extracting blood from the ruptured internal organs to a transfusion bag takes about 5 minutes, which is critical in saving the life of a patient. The US President Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief cancelled their funding of 2 billion shillings for blood collection, testing and processing in Kenya, a move that may lead to a shortage of blood. Autotransfusion will go a long way in saving lives of Kenyans during emergency surgeries.
Any air that may have made it into the blood bag, we can do that as well by switching the stopcock, gently pushing.
Initial price, as the volumes go up, we hope we can even reduce it further.
There are many women who get ectopic pregnancies and they go to theater, maybe they need blood. And other emergencies like accidents where you have spleen or liver or other ruptures in the abdomen where the blood remains salvageable or usable, that blood should not go to waste, because you can imagine that shortage and then we are throwing away blood. Hemafuse is a solution to that.
So what we've seen in people in the hospitals that have used Hemafuse, it takes about 8 minutes for the first time that they use Hemafuse to be able to salvage and transfuse the first unit of blood. But as they become more proficient in using the Hemafuse, we've seen the time drop to about 5 minutes per unit of blood.
And police in Mombasa have arrested 7 people during a raid conducted last night in VOK and Maweni areas in Nyali constituency. This follows Saturday night's attack that left 7 people nursing serious injuries. Those in custody are now 10 as the hunt for more suspects continues. Kevin Mutai with the details.
Police officers last night raided VOK, Maweni, Kisumundogo and Kongowea, where they arrested over 5 people believed to be connected to a criminal gang that has been raining terror in the area. According to the locals, the criminals who recently attacked and injured 7 people have been conducting their meetings in the bushes near the dumping site in VOK. Police recovered machetes and other crude weapons in one of their hideouts.
Juzi wametoka tu humu ndani ya msitu wakakata mtu hapa, wakamuumiza. Hata sisi tulikuwa tunajua ule mtu amefariki, lakini bahati mzuri tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwamba ule mtu alienda hospitali na hata sasa anaendelea na matibabu sahihi.
Kuna vijana wengi pale sana, mambo ya ufutaji wa panga wa bangi. Usiku hao vijana huwezi pita maeneo hayo. Hali kadhalika hapa huku nyuma kuna miadharati mingi sana, na hiyo ndio inachangia sana katika maeneo haya.
Residents also claim that there are criminal elements among garbage collectors.
Vijana wengi ambao wanatenda uovu wanakuja wanajificha humu ndani. Kifika kama maeneo wale wa kwenda sokoni, maeneo kama ya saa 11 hivi, najua wanajiteka kwa barabara kunyang'anya watu pesa, kunyang'anya watu simu na kujificha katika msitu.
Sources within the DCI say some confessions will lead to more arrests, targeting 3 people believed to be the masterminds and are still in the run.
Ndio sisi tumeingia kasumba nyingine mbaya. Ukiwa unakaa uhalifu umesiti, watu wanauliwa, unaokopa, unasema kwamba utakuja kuuliwa ama utakuja kufatwa. Tukiwa tutanyamazia hivi, wacha niwaambie, hakuna siku ile ambayo tutakuwa na usalama.
One of the victims of the Saturday night attack is still recuperating at the Coast General Hospital, while others have been discharged. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
And still in Mombasa, listen to this. A suspect in an ivory smuggling case moved to a Mombasa court in tears as he explained that he was framed by his girlfriend's father. Jafeth Bakari told Mombasa Chief Magistrate Edna Nyaloti that the girlfriend's father was against his relationship with the Moi University fifth-year medicine student.
Jafeth Bakari, a second-year student at Moi University, was brought before the Mombasa Chief Magistrate Edna Nyaloti to answer charges of being in possession of ivory without a permit. Bakari told the magistrate that his relationship with a lady from a rich family is the reason for his arrest.
Mashahidi ambao ni maaskari wanaelewa vyema mwenye mali ni nani, lakini kwa sababu ya kuwa pengine huenda ikawa wanakula wote ndio mkasa huu ukanipata.
Bakari requested the court to review his bond terms since the 10 million bond the court imposed on him was too high. He told the court that he is from a very poor family, adding that his university studies are church-sponsored.
So nilikuwa na uhusiano naye msichana yule kwa jina Zuleha, lakini akawaambia wazazi wake na wazazi wakamwambia huyo kijana anatoka familia ya maskini na lazima kuachane naye, lakini kwa sababu ya mapenzi mzee alinionya mimi nimeyawacha, lakini msichana mwenyewe ndio akaendeleza uhusiano huo.
Bakari is charged alongside Ibrahim Samson Ali at the Mombasa court for dealing and being in possession of 9 pieces of 8.5 kilograms of wildlife trophies with a street value of 850,000 shillings without a permit. Halima Gongo, NTV.
A woman suspected to be part of a racket that imports and distributes counterfeit excise duty stamps has been charged at the Milimani Law Court. Jen Muthoni Gishengo denied the charges before Magistrate Francis Andai and was released on a 2 million shilling cash bail or an alternative bond of the equal amount. She was arrested on Friday upon arrival from China at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport with the fake stamps. KRA officials say Muthoni is part of a criminal network that manufactures excise stamps in China and consigns them to Kenya under concealment. They later distribute them to alcohol manufacturing companies who evade taxes. The case will be mentioned on the 30th of September. And elected members of the Kirinyaga County Assembly are asking Governor Anne Mumbi to concentrate on delivering services of residents before engaging in 2022 succession politics. The MC has questioned why the governor is focusing on national politics at the expense of delivery of health services in her county. Led by Tebere MCA Gadson Mushina, the leaders asked the governor to desist claims that she speaks on behalf of the larger Mount Kenya region. The MC has further questioned why the county continues to suffer from poor service delivery while the assembly has passed the necessary budgetary allocations.
We have seen a dilapidated health sector whereby there are no medicine, there are no pharmaceuticals, there are no proper infrastructures, there are no beddings, there are no bed in our facilities. We have said as members of the County Assembly, we have provided enough budget for all those facilities, but they are not being provided. We have provided money for road infrastructure and no work is being done. Vehicles were purchased, earth movers, lorries, graders were all purchased using county government funds and nothing has been done so far. We are asking the government, led by one Honorable Anne Mumbi Kamodo, why is Kirinyaga lagging behind in terms of development?
Sisi kama Kirinyaga tumejionea na macho yetu ya kwamba contract zinapeanwa na contract zikipeanwa zinafanywa kazi na gari za serikali ya county. Tunasema hata sisi sasa pesa ya county itumiwe kwa njia inayofaa na tunaalika wale wanafanya uchunguzi waje wafanye uchunguzi, sababu hatutanyamaza tena kuona pesa zetu zikitumiwa kwa njia isizofaa. Kama ni tenda, kazi ifanywe ikiwa tenda. Kama ni kitu tunaita ni in-house work, ifanywe ikiwa in-house work.
Peter Tabichi, the Kenyan teacher who won the 2019 Global Teacher Prize on Monday, met US President Donald Trump at White House. Through a tweet, White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham lauded Tabichi's work, saying his dedication to helping the poor is an inspiration to many.
The world's best teacher, Peter Tabichi, is in the US and is expected to address the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, which officially begins today. On Monday, Tabichi met with the US President Donald Trump. The White House lauded Tabichi for his selfless nature, giving away 80% of his salary to help needy students. Describing teacher Peter Tabichi as an inspiration to Americans for his hard work and commitment to his students. Through a tweet, White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham lauded Tabichi's work, saying his dedication to helping the poor is an inspiration to many. Tabichi, a staunch Catholic, amazed the world with his commitment to nurturing the academic abilities of his students, whom come from poor backgrounds. He is a mathematics and science teacher at Kiriko Mixed Secondary School in Nakuru. He will address the 74th session to give insight into how he managed to excel as a teacher in a community where poverty is widespread. In April this year, Tabichi was appointed as the first champion for children in conflicts and crisis for Education Cannot Wait, the Global Fund for Education in Crisis. He now champions the cause of the 75 million children whose education is disrupted by conflicts and natural disasters, traveling to the world's most crisis-affected children, and with planned engagements at the 2019 United Nations General Assembly and other high-level events. It is hoped his inspiring story and powerful voice will help raise the urgency on the world stage to invest in the future of children in crisis.
Now, away from that, President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent a message of condolence to Nation Media Group's chairman, Dr. following the demise of his mother. President Kenyatta has described the late Martha Njeri Ng'ang'a as a gracious and generous lady who used her meager earning from tea farming to educate children from disadvantaged backgrounds. Mama Martha Njeri is fondly remembered as a dear mother, great-grandmother and great-great-grandmother. She leaves behind 8 children, 37 grandchildren, as well as great and great-great-grandchildren. A memorial service will be held for the late Mama Martha Njeri at her Kambaa home this afternoon, with family and friends meeting daily for prayers and fellowship at her Kambaa home in Githunguri. The funeral service will be held on Friday at Our Lady of Assumption Catholic Church in Kambaa. Now, deepest condolences to our boss, Dr. Wilfred Kiboro, for that. Now, you might think that trains are just another childhood obsession, something that one grows out of as they get older. But what happens when you take an obsession and turn it into a career? Well, this week on My Job, we meet Gilbert Oyungo, a locomotive driver who has done just that.
The modern standard gauge railway is only as good as the people who run it. And look no further than Gilbert Oyungo, who has perfected the art of locomotive driving. Not only does Gilbert drive a freight train to and from Nairobi to Mombasa, but with over 10 years of experience in this industry, he also knows the ins and outs and nuts and bolts of the train.
I would say all along, that has been my career. So I started in 2003 up to 2006. That's the basic training in locomotive driving. That was with the old locomotive, old railway, that is the meter gauge railway. So after 2006, when I finished the RTI college, we went to the field. So after assessment, I was allowed to drive the locomotive.
Gilbert has held a variety of positions in the locomotive industry, starting first with a job working on the old meter gauge railway. But with the launch of the SGR, he had to go back for more training to learn how to operate it. However, one might ask, what exactly does a day in the life of a locomotive driver look like? First, it starts with ensuring sobriety by taking an alcoblow test, and then an array of checks and assessments before being able to board the train.
Then you are given the document, the running document. That's where you, together with the assistant driver, you go through them, you check that everything is okay. Then you are given the AC card, you are given the keys, the relevant documents, you insert the details. Again, you counter check with the your assistant driver. After that, you do now the locomotive checking.
Gilbert explains that his job entails knowing the engineering and wiring of the train so that in case any mechanical hitches happen while en route, he can quickly identify and resolve the issue.
Before you move, you have to again check and counter-check with your assistant driver that every data that you've entered is correct.
Confirm safety.
You confirm safety. You hoot. Then you wait. If anybody's underneath, he will move. Then you physically check. You check if there's somebody.
Back attention.
Back attention.
Then you confirm your safety.
Back, okay.
Gilbert's working days consist of transporting cargo back and forth from Nairobi to Mombasa, a trip that takes about 6 hours to complete one way. But years into this job, one thing remains a constant favorite of his.
My favorite thing is that when I get to the cabin and I get to my destination on time and safely, I enjoy it most.
And to those pursuing a career in the locomotive industry, Gilbert has a tip or two.
The machine can be very good, but the person operating machine, if you are not good enough, you won't operate it. For example, driving a passenger train, you're carrying human life, so you need to be very careful.
Since its launch, the Standard Gauge Railway, a pet project by President Uhuru Kenyatta's government, has eased the movement of goods, services, and people, notwithstanding criticism in those finding fault in its viability and sustainability.
And now you finally know the brains behind the console. Locomotive driving is a job that requires skill, experience, and agility, but it's a career that's rewarding and can take you all over the world. Melanie Kibunja, NTV Nairobi.
Great report there by Melanie, of course, quite an inspiration as well. But from that, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court appealed on Monday against the acquittal of former Ivory Coast leader Laurent Gbagbo of a post-electoral violence that killed around 3,000 people.
Every day, NTV News team moves you to the center of the action.
The security forces who took part in this operation.
Police are not taking anything to chance it.
Moves you to the heart of the story to witness and record history.
Rendering the declared results null and void.
Telling the story of Kenya.
The growing importance of border in Mandera.
Matatus will be on strike.
And beyond.
The politics in the United States capital.
It is the 7th edition of the Global Education taking place in Dubai.
When it comes to business, we crunch the numbers and unpack the detail with the latest information for your investment decision.
It's time to say goodbye to this
Let's have a look at the latest in sports, and the national under-20 football team, the Rising Stars, is currently in camp for the upcoming Sekafa Under-20 Championships in Uganda. Under the watchful eyes of coach Stanley Okumbi, the team held 2 training sessions on more lined up today ahead of their departure to Jinja tomorrow. Kenya has been pulled in tough Group B alongside Ethiopia, Zanzibar and Tanzania. The Rising Stars will be seeking to emulate the Junior Stars, who placed second in the Sekafa Under-15 tournament in Eritrea last month.
This is a tournament that, of course, we need to win maybe first 2 matches and try to get a positive result in the last game. And I can say that for sure this time it's a performance-oriented mission.
Kwanza kama mchezaji, target yangu ni kufungia timu mabao, kupata hiyo win, na ikiwezekana pia nibebe hiyo top scorer ya tournament. Na kama team tunafaa tufike the highest level inawezekana possible.
And the national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, is yet to win a match at the ongoing FIVB World Cup in Japan. But given the performance of the upcoming players, Kenya's volleyball future seems to be brighter. The Malkia Strikers have lost in straight sets to the United States, Netherlands and world champion Serbia. But the performance of Laureen Chebet, Edith Wisa and Sharon Chepchumba have caught the attention of